This is the ELEET Review Podcast coming back at you here today with a Stranger Things Season 4 Volume 1 review. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe and check out the channel for our other videos. We do a lot of Star Wars, Marvel, lots of other rankings here for shows. And we recently just did Doctor Strange and Moon Knight, which came out a little bit ago. And then we'll make sure to do Miss Marvel and a few other things coming out. So, we want to talk about Stranger Things because we both really love the show. We've watched it since it came out. Obviously, everyone's talking about this new season right now. So we're just going to kind of talk about what's good and what's bad, kind of our least favorite episodes. And let's just start with what's good about this season. What do you think is working?
Well, first of all, I love how this season feels a lot darker than season 3, because I feel like season 3 was kind of the fun season.
It was fun.
This one definitely goes more horror type with the freaking bodies going up in the air. I think the way they went with the villain being like an actual guy person, like an actual villain. I think that was a pretty cool route to take it, and they haven't done anything like that yet. So, I think the characters are all still great. A few of them, like Will, I feel like isn't used enough, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think overall it's just a really good season.
Yeah, I would agree. It's super solid. It feels like the biggest the show's ever been.
For sure. I'm sure it'll get bigger too.
Yeah, the final season will be huge. And you can just tell the budget's just whacked out for this show. I think Netflix put a lot into this season here.
Yeah,
we did have to deal with COVID and things like that, so I think the show was ready to come out, take a lot of time and make sure to be really huge. And you just feel that with just how big the cast is, how much VFX there is, how much things are happening in this season. It just feels way bigger than anything that's happened in the show so far.
Yeah, for sure.
Season 3 was pretty big as well, but not quite on this level. And that's really cool to see, because you just see the show that's just has so much it's been around for so many years and it's getting so much time and effort put into it. That makes you feel very good. But every episode I would say is pretty solid. Obviously there's better ones than other ones, but I just feel like the writing here has been pretty top notch.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially what they have to deal with, because it is really hard to have a bunch of plots going on at the same time. I honestly think they're handling that better than they did last season, season 3. That was kind of my biggest problem with season 3, was that everybody was so separated the whole time, and you just had 2 people here, 2 people there, 2 people there. And finally everybody got together, the final episode. This one, it's still kind of the same, but we have a bigger group. We have Dustin and Robin and Steve and Nancy.
Kind of chaotic if they were all together.
Yeah, so we kind of have a big group here, and then we kind of have Joyce and Murray over here and Hopper over here. So it's kind of you get most of the group together in this one, with a little bit of separation, of course.
And I think it also really helps that the episodes are longer too, because you get more time with each plot line to develop it more.
And that's why this is bigger, just because every episode's just huge, long.
They're all like movies.
And they need the time, honestly, because if this were any shorter, I think this would be struggling a lot.
I think so too.
So since they have all the time to really flesh out the story and care about it, I think it works a lot. And I think every character is pretty much on their A game in this season. Minus a few, like you said, Will and stuff. We'll talk about that a little later. There's obviously some people that are going to get underused, which just happens when this happens. Will's kind of always been the guy who gets underused.
So and Jonathan, season 2.
Those two will never make it in my heart. But I'd say everybody else, Dustin's still killing it. Max is probably better than ever. Steve's still amazing. All these characters are great. And even the new people that have come in, I think, are pretty great. Eddie's a great addition. I'm not a huge fan of the villain guy too much. Not Vecna, but the jock guy who's kind of just going. He's alright.
He really bugs me out and all that.
Yeah.
It's an interesting plot line to go though.
Yeah. I think it's been very interesting how they've just handled all of these things, and it's just insane to see how much they need to handle at this point, which is crazy when season 5 comes around. I think everything's just going to be so many plots and things to go on.
Yeah,
I've seen that be a problem for a lot of people, where they think there's too many plots going on, and it kind of bugs them because it's just too much to take on.
Yeah.
And I definitely get that criticism. It's not one that I feel, but I totally get how if somebody's watching the show and how much time it requires of you to watch this and kind of follow everything, it's quite a bit.
It is quite a bit, yeah.
It took me a while to get through the season. It's definitely it asks of you quite a bit, but I think it ends up being worth it. And obviously we have the volume 2 to still finish up, which is insane to me.
I know.
Because I honestly felt like things could have even ended right here at episode 7, almost.
I know.
And now there's like still 2 more big episodes to go, and I'm just
2.5 hour
It
episode.
feels like they were ready to wrap up everything in episode 7, and now there's even more, which is pretty nuts, especially with the 2.5 hour episode we're gonna get for the finale.
Oh my gosh.
So I like it. I like seeing that just how big this show's gotten.
Me too. And it's crazy. It's like kept fans like hype up every season too. Like
Yeah.
nobody's like not excited for this. This is still like a big
It's
thing.
still huge. And and I agree. Vecna, I think, is a great villain. I think it's a great thing to bring him in because we kind of just had the same thing every season. Another problem I've had with the past seasons is it's always the Mind Flayer, Demogorgons, same thing every season.
Everything from the upside
It
down.
comes back again. This one's cooler because it's like a Freddy Krueger type villain
Yeah.
who, takes people in their fears, and the way he does it is super cool, and the way he looks is super cool, the way he sounds is super cool.
Yeah.
So the stakes feel even greater.
And like you even do have the element of the upside down too, where he is in the upside down, but it doesn't just feel like the
We're not
exact
just dealing
thing.
with the Mind Flayer again.
And also you give him like a whole backstory of like why he's evil.
Exactly.
All of this stuff.
Yeah. So I'm not sure why they haven't really done a villain before besides the Mind Flayer, but it's all right. And yeah, it's just cool visually how the Upside Down looks this season, especially with him and what he does with clocks and clock
It's
towers
really cool.
and the red fog and the vines and everything, and just kind of snapping people, and the way they like lift up in the air, their eyes kind of like roll
Dude,
and stuff.
It's creepy. It feels like a genuine horror movie.
Yeah, very creepy. And that's another good thing of this season is that it's kept up like the horror, but the funniness, all of it's kept up pretty well.
Yeah.
It's well balanced. And I think it's probably the biggest horror we've seen in the show. At least the
For
most
sure.
brutal type stuff.
I think so too.
Things have not really got
Season 1, I think, was pretty horror though.
It was pretty horror.
I don't think it did anything as brutal though.
Yeah, this one, just seeing the bones snap and stuff. At times it gets a little CGI-like, but I'd say it mostly works. I think they're just handling it all well. I think the humor is also really, really well done, like I was saying. I just think that there's a lot of characters who've gotten really good at having a lot of good chemistry together. We still kind of have the uninteresting characters like Will and stuff, and I don't really particularly enjoy to watch Will and Mike talk together and stuff. But then when you see like Dustin and Steve still, like that's always something I'm gonna love.
It's so fun.
Seeing Nancy and Steve again is a great addition. I forgot to mention. Like I kind of like how they're teasing this whole relationship thing between them again.
It's cool because when you first see them together too, Steve's like a big jerk, and now he's like actually a cool
he's
guy.
a decent guy. Like I hated him in season 1, and now he's totally got everything for me. And I like him way more than Jonathan.
Me too.
And that's why I love seeing Nancy and Steve, this whole thing they're doing with them, because you really buy it, and they've just developed a lot of chemistry now.
Yeah.
I love the Robin character. I think she's a great addition. I loved her in season 3, and I like her even more now.
I do too. She's great. And it's
She's
nice to
amazing.
see her with Nancy too, like having them have a friendship.
Seeing her with the group is fun. And Lucas, I thought, is doing pretty good this season too. I don't know if season 3 he was particularly memorable to me much. I was thinking the same thing was going to happen this season based on the first 2 episodes. I was kind of like, all right, this Lucas is just going to be with the jocks all the time and kind of be stupid and lame.
Yeah.
But then he ends up joining the group again, and he's really fun.
Uh-huh.
I love how he interacts with his sister and everything.
It's great.
I like how they're keeping up Dustin's girlfriend in Salt Lake. That's so funny.
It's so funny.
She's a better addition than I thought she would be too, because she was pretty funny in season 3 when she was there for a sec, but I was surprised she came back.
Really interesting to see the rest of her family too.
Right.
It's a lot of fun.
The one character with the long black hair, I can't remember his name, but the stoner dude with Jonathan, I think he's a great addition. I've seen him in other things. He's such a funny guy. So I love seeing him. And I, of course, love Murray. I've seen a little bit of Murray hate for some reason, but I think he's amazing. Yeah, I think he's so funny.
He's so funny. Love when he dresses up as the other guy. I forgot his name, but
yeah, Yuri. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah. And Joyce. I mean, Joyce has never really been quite my favorite, but she's good. I think she's all right.
I feel like I like crazy Joyce more.
I agree with
like in the other seasons when Will's gone or whatever.
Exactly.
She's going crazy. I feel like I'm not loving her as much this season.
That's how I feel too. Yeah, she's been pretty mid.
It's still fun to see her with Murray and stuff though.
Right. And then Hopper's been good too. It's probably not my favorite Hopper just because I loved him as being kind of the sheriff. I think season 3 was prime Hopper for me. I loved seeing him in that season.
I'd even say season 2 is also prime.
He was great in there too, yeah. But him now, still good, but it's obviously such a different context for him.
It is.
So it's hard to see him in the same light. It's more of an emotional journey for him in this one. Versus the other seasons, I just liked how he's kind of this brutal, broken down kind of cop guy. This one, he's kind of just a prisoner now, which takes you to a whole different level.
Yeah. I do really like the scene of him fighting the Demogorgon, though. I think that's such a cool scene.
Yeah, it was cool. So yeah, he's still doing great. And then, yeah, I guess we have no Alexis this season, but
No.
the Russian guard he's working with is pretty fun too. Yuri's pretty funny. So, yeah, I think it's handling everything pretty well. I'd still say this is the best season so far. And it's not even done yet, and I still think it's better than the other ones just because it's gotten so huge now. So.
I also just want to bring up the whole 11 plotline that they do this season too. I think that I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a really interesting concept to bring her back into this.
It was
bring
cool.
back the evil scientist guy.
Right.
It's a very interesting way to have her get her powers back. And
it was interesting. It's almost
like
like a virtual reality, also living through it type of thing.
And I really like the way that they introduce one as just this helper guy, and he seems kind of weird. Like, he was kind of a weird guy to me.
Yeah. No, yeah,
like,
I never would think he was going to be back then. They really threw us for a loop there in the final episode.
They really make you trust him, and then it turns out he murdered all the kids, and it's like, jeez.
Right. And I was glad that 11 wasn't the one that murdered them.
Me
which
too.
was nice to see. And yeah, I even as much as I hate the Papa character, I love the Papa character, and I think he is essential for 11 being able to save everybody. So he is going to end up being kind of a hero, which is a little weird.
Even though he's definitely a villain.
Definitely a bad guy, but it's cool that he's helping 11 now kind of realize everything. And I'm very excited to see her get her powers again. I think it's obviously setting up that she's going to have a big showdown with Vecna in these last 2 episodes somehow. She's going to be the key to destroying him. Obviously, it's not going to be easy though because he's very powerful, as we saw. Which is going to be a cool showdown. So I hope to see her reunite with the group again and finally have more confidence and more power and things like that. Because I thought in the first few episodes, 11 was just a little hard to watch. She was just always getting bullied, very insecure, all these problems. So it'll be cool to see her kind of back in her element again with powers.
It'll be really cool.
And
also,
what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, and then to see Hopper come back, obviously that's gonna happen soon.
Right. It was really awesome seeing him get back with Joyce.
It
I
was.
love that.
It's a good moment.
It was one of the best moments this season, I think.
I'm sure that like the whole gang will meet up by the last episode. Everyone.
Yeah, and it'll be good to see 11 see Hopper again. Obviously, we'll still care for each other a ton. And obviously, season 3 really tried to tease hard that there was never going to be Hopper and 11 again, but now there is going to be Hopper and 11 again. So we'll see how that goes down. So let's talk about what's maybe not working or what didn't work for you in this season.
I guess just like the first thing I'll bring up is just I don't really love the whole Hopper situation they got going on.
I agree.
I mean, I think it works. I think it was a little bit weird to have such an emotional fake off death for him.
It was very emotional.
And then only just like a few months later, they release a teaser of him in Russia, and then it's like, you're not even gonna let us like sit with it for a minute thinking he's dead. I thought the marketing was very weird on that part.
I agree.
And when he does come back, I do really like the Russia stuff. Like at first, I think it's a cool plot line to go through, but then like by like episode even like 3, I'm like, okay,
it's quite a while.
It's getting a bit much, and each episode like an hour and a half. So like,
and then tons of Russian stuff.
And I guess like episode 6, and I'm like, okay, I'm very much not interested in this plot anymore.
I agree.
But
it's a lot of time to keep them there in Russia.
I did really like all the stuff that happened in episode 7, even though I thought all that stuff was really cool.
Yeah, hopefully the Russia stuff's over now that he can escape. So
yeah, hopefully it looks like he's about to leave with Joyce.
Hopefully,
we'll see. I will also say, like we were talking about with the characters, I think Will has just always been like kind of the boring one. Like he's not even like in season 1, he's not even there. For like all the season. Almost. Season 2, I do think he has some interesting stuff. Season 3, he has this little thing where he just does that. And then this season he's just kind of there. And he just kind of just kind of there to give Mike some moral support. And then that's about it.
Pretty dull.
And then Mike too, I don't love his plotline too. He's not even doing anything really.
Not too much.
But I've never loved Mike too much.
It's really hard to love Mike. I think season 1 I liked Mike, and then after that it's a little hard.
Jonathan's always been kind of a boring character to me. I feel like I liked him in season 1 when I was first watching him, but now I do think the guy he hangs out with who's like always like stoned and stuff, I think he's funny, but I also don't love the plot that they're just always stoned.
Yeah.
It gets kind of on my nerves a little bit. Yeah. Eventually, I was just always high. It's like, come on, man. You can talk for a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'll bring up something different than that because I share those same problems. Mm-hmm. But I would say just the bullying in this season's been just a little not very well done, especially for how good the writing is in the show. It's just way too on the nose. I thought the bully for 11 is just the most typical bully you could ever find from any 2000s movie. Honestly, like she's just the typical hates on her, gives her all the classic comments, and it's so just annoying to watch 11 just take that. I know she's struggling and stuff with insecurities, but it's just like they do it so often that this girl's just giving her crap. And 11 just sits there and cries. You know, like it's really annoying to watch.
It annoys me even more too when Mike comes and like Will and Mike don't do anything about it.
I know, yeah.
Then we have the really weird moment where the DJ's in on the joke too.
Yeah, the
it's
DJ's
like,
in on it.
That's a bit much.
Yeah.
What is even going on?
Yeah, and everybody like supports the bully. Like nobody stands up for her, which is weird.
Felt very off.
It is so on the nose, like I said. And then it's really hard to just watch the cringy parts, you know, like when 11 tries to use her powers on her, or like Mike finds out they're not really friends. Like that's just really hard to watch. I know it's kind of the point, but I think they just do it too often and it's way too on the nose. She does not subtly bully her. She gets everybody in on it. They say all those things that bullies say to people in these movies, you know, which is just really unrealistic. And then, I really can't stand how 11 decides to get back at her and everyone treats it like it's this huge, terrible thing. Like, everyone's like, whoa, you're insane. Like, what the heck? You know, it's like anybody in their right mind would be like, that is crazy, but like, she had it coming. Because she did have it coming. Everyone knows this girl's been bullying her for so long now. They've seen it all happen publicly. And it's like 11 gets back at her and hits her in the face with everyone's like, what? Everyone looked at her like she's a monster. And it's like, I think anybody would be like, hey, like, I get it.
She kind of deserved it.
Yeah, she did. And I get that they're trying to push the plot forward of 11 being like, oh, I killed people. I'm gonna kill this girl. I'm a terrible person.
Yeah.
I get that. But at the same time, it's like, she gets arrested the next day. Like, cops show up at the house to arrest her for that.
Yeah, exactly.
She
doesn't even defend herself either.
Yeah,
the guy's like, did you feel like killing her? She's like, I don't know.
Exactly. No adults present at all, even though she's like a minor. Like, it's just weird to me. But they just arrest her like, here we go, we're taking you away. And because you hit this girl in the face. And it's like, oh, okay, well, maybe 11 should explain that this girl was bullying her a crap ton. It's just that whole plot was really bugging me. And I get what they were going for with it, but I think it could have been way more subtle and more realistic, and didn't have to happen so often. I think there are other ways to get 11 to where she got to in her arc than doing that. Besides that, I agree. There's just the characters that just get underused and just cannot be as good as the top characters in the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's just so many good characters now. It's so hard. And Will is one of them. I feel so bad for Will. I love the actor too.
He's such a cool guy.
But it's just hard to love him. Same with Mike. Like, I just can't love Mike. I thought this season I would maybe change my mind because I really liked him in episode 1. And then after that, he just starts to bug me a little bit once he gets with 11 again, because he's just so angsty and so quirky. It's just hard for me to like him. And then Jonathan, I agree. Like, season 1 he was good, and then after that I just not dug him much. I especially didn't like him season 3 with Nancy. I think I might have even
that was so boring.
That might have been worse than this, I think, because at least he has a stronger buddy now. And at least his buddy's funny. With Nancy, when they were just kind of tricking out evidence and stuff last season, I thought was just so stupid. Which is why I'm kind of glad they're going to break up now and stuff like that, because I wasn't super into them.
Not gonna lie, at the beginning of the season 2, I wasn't digging Nancy much until she got with the group. I thought I thought it was weird how they just kind of introduced that guy that she was hanging out with, and it's like, who is this?
It seemed like he was going to be a big deal.
And then he dies
really quick.
And I felt that way with the girl that Eddie was hanging out with too. But
she seemed like she was going to be big.
But I also thought that they handled that better. For me, I thought that she seemed like she was gonna die.
Yeah,
they teased it from the beginning.
They did. The kid was kind of random. The dude she was with, he was really quick and random.
Especially because we don't know Eddie, so we don't know the guy's.
Right. I totally agree. I thought we were just going to get the same thing in season 3, like Nancy looking for clues again, all that type of stuff. And she ended up just being a lot cooler after that. So I'm glad that they didn't stick with that.
Me too.
And yeah, I thought we were just going to get a repeat of season 3. And I was like, please, no. And then, yeah, like I said, I'm enjoying her with Steve, so that's really good. So yeah, just kind of some underused characters, and that might be a problem because of how big the show is now with how many people there are. So I kind of get that part of the criticism that like, oh, you can't really have as great a story with some people because we have to focus on 11, we have to focus on Hopper, we have to focus on Dustin and Steve. You know, it's kind of just unfortunate. That's just kind of where we're at with the show now. So
yeah,
some characters are going to get really lame, unfortunately. So we'll see how season 5 goes. I hope Will can, maybe in these last 2 episodes we'll get something really cool. I don't know. Probably not. But,
I don't think so.
We'll see what happens in the final season, I guess.
I think last season there was like one scene I really liked with Will, and it was when he went back and he destroyed his thing that he used to hide in. Thought that was really cool, but since then, like, there's not been that much.
Yeah, and I think Will is one of the most obviously like older people they're trying to make younger. His voice is just so deep.
It's weird though, because he's one of the youngest cast members.
I know.
It's very awkward.
He's just matured so much.
I feel like they should just change his hairstyle now. Like,
I agree.
Make him look like, because he's still like kind of young in real life. Like,
I know.
You can make him look his age.
And he looks like, he looks like he's 25 years old with like a 15-year-old haircut. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really hard to watch. Even Lucas, who looked really freaking old, he still does in real life. Like he looks kind of younger than Will does now, which is kind of crazy to me. So yeah, these kids are getting really freaking old. So that's why I'm glad they're gonna wrap this up season 5, because I was like, I don't know how much longer you guys can keep up with these kids.
Exactly.
They're so grown up now. Surprisingly, 11 was able to look kind of younger. Like, and the way they did her looking like a little kid back and forth was so weird to me. Like, I don't know if that was deleted footage or CGI.
Yeah.
But they could get her to look like how she looked.
Oh yeah, that was really weird.
It was really crazy.
It might have been CGI.
I think it was probably CGI, but it was good CGI.
They did really good with it.
Yeah, because I could not tell if it was deleted scenes or what.
I'll also say Max is like, I think she's one of the oldest cast members, but she still looks the same.
Yeah, she does look the exact same. Yeah, the girls will definitely have it easier than the guys will on the show, because all the guys have, they look like babies in the first season. Now they're way old. Minus like Steve, and so like Steve looks the exact same, things like that. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, loving the season. Let's go ahead and talk about our just favorite episode, least favorite episode. So I think we both agree episode 4 is the best one. Why do you like episode 4?
I mean, we obviously got, I'll just go for the obvious one first. We get that bit at the end with Max, and I think everybody loves that.
Everybody does love this.
It's just really epic, and I just love her like walking around in the upside down, or yeah, that's where he is, in the upside down. Right. Just walking through his base and stuff, and like all that stuff's really cool. You really feel the tension too. It's like a really intense moment.
Yeah.
And then just some stuff like earlier in the episode, like I really like the plot with her leaving the notes to like all her friends and like to her mom and stuff.
And her mom ends up being freaking.
Yeah, I thought that part was so cool.
Yeah,
I love that. Even though it was really sad that was like not her mom. It was creepy. The stuff where the people like break into
to the house.
Yeah, into the house, and they have a
really well
cool
shot.
fight scene.
Really well shot.
But you think it's the guy delivering pizza. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. Then I believe in this episode you get Hopper trying to like escape.
Yeah.
And that scene was pretty cool. I might be remembering that wrong, but yeah. So I did think it was a great episode, and it had like some of the best tension in the entire season.
Yeah, it was such a good episode, and I think the song choice was just so good for Max running out of the upside down. It was that running up a hill, running through a hill. I can't remember what it's called. But the message was cool because it's talking about when you're like facing death and you're seeing heaven and stuff like that, which is exactly what kind of was happening with Max. And it was such a cool song for Stranger Things. Like they picked such a good song.
They do.
And, I heard the song like streamed like 1 billion. After it, which is awesome.
I see that song like everywhere.
Yeah, it's such a good song though. I mean, I knew the song before, but I just like hearing it in that context, I loved it. And yeah, Max just like with facing Billy again was really cool.
It was.
Her fears and what she was dealing with Billy, and kind of all the friends getting together to really take care of her. That's where I think the emotion was so good in this episode, is you feel everybody care about her like immensely. because they're all like waiting, wanting to protect her, seeing what they can do to really help her. And then they quickly hurry to try and get that music playing in her ears. And then the moment when she gets back, and they all just kind of hug there for like a long time. It's probably like a minute long. They hug, and that's super awesome to see.
It's really good.
And it's just kind of the music quiet. Like everything gets kind of silent, and they just hug, which is really awesome. That was one of my favorite parts.
Great.
And yeah, the tension was just so high, and dealing with Vecna and the upside down there. I just thought it had great emotion and then great things like that. And it's just cool that there's this scene that everybody remembers from this season, and that's the scene. It's cool that Max got that scene because Max, she's a good character. She hasn't really been necessarily one of the main ones, but it's awesome to see her get that scene.
I agree.
So yeah, really, really solid episode, I think.
I think so too.
I guess the worst one we said was episode 1, even though it's still a good episode.
I still think it was a great introduction to
every
this
season just has to have the first episode. So.
Yeah, and I think that's a good sign too, because that means that the season never really drops a lot in quality.
No. I would just say that there's tons of bullying stuff. All that cringy stuff was really present in this episode.
Yeah,
so.
And you don't have anything crazy going on with the character arcs yet.
No.
They do they give us that tease at the end for like what the villain's gonna be. That was really cool, and just the teases of the girl like getting their hands and stuff with Vecna.
Yeah,
all that was really
cool.
For
first episode, still really good. Just everything just got better after it, which is that's what you want usually.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, and I forgot to talk about that scene, which you already mentioned. But the one, where they go in the house in episode 4, and the military guys start showing up. Like that was really. You could tell a ton of budget went towards that because there's nothing I dig more than
like
shots like that where like the camera goes along and goes into different rooms and follows everybody like it's running away itself. Yeah, which is so cool. You just see all these people getting shot and the way they're running, and then bullets going through different walls and things crashing through walls.
So cool.
I just could not believe it.
And it came out of nowhere too. It just happened.
So little shot.
It's like dang.
Whoever just decided on like that cinematography there for that section was like genius. I could tell they put a lot of action and work into that scene, which helped make that episode so cool for me. Probably one of the best shot scenes of Stranger Things.
I agree.
Super solid episode. So there you guys have it. Check out episode 4 if you want to see the best episode. And obviously episode 1 you have to start with, but you'll definitely get better from there. Super solid show. What would you give it 1 out of 10 on this season so far? Obviously it's not over yet.
So far I'm gonna give it like a 9 out of 10.
I think I'll give it like a 9 as well. Maybe like a 9.2.
I could give it
like it.
I could almost give it like a 9.5.
Yeah.
I think it's really
We'll
good.
have to see how it wraps up. Maybe the last 2 episodes will suck. This is 6
It's a 1.
I'm sure it'll end up being close to a 10. Maybe a 10. That's how it's going so far. It's just such a good show. So
yeah.
Anyway, there you guys have it. Make sure to like and subscribe and check us out. Like I said, we'll be doing Miss Marvel. We'll be doing Kenobi. I forgot to mention that. When it gets done, we'll talk about Kenobi for sure. And we'll obviously keep talking movies. Maybe we'll talk about Jurassic World that are coming out. We'll obviously keep talking about movies and shows. So stay tuned. Check us out on Instagram at the ELEET Review Podcast. You guys have a great day.
I'll see you guys.